Just a few weeks ago, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 just wrapped up with its final episode and the conclusion of the Shibuya arc, and hot damn was it amazing. I don't read a lot of manga, a habit I'm slowly but surely changing, but whenever I do read one, it's always because an amazing anime introduced it to me first. I started reading My Hero Academia and the One Punch Man mangas because I love the animes and couldn't wait to see where they went on from there. It's a sign of great storytelling, interesting and compelling characters that make you want more and make you feel extremely invested in how things turn out. I really enjoyed Season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen and was looking forward to seeing Yuji Itadori again in Season 2, as well as all the other characters. But I wasn't expecting to be completely blown away, and before Season 3 drops, I'm going to be reading up on everything that goes on in the manga because I just can't wait. So suffice it to say, Season 2 is definitely worth the watch, and if you haven't checked out Season 2 or Season 1 yet, then this is absolutely one to put on the list to binge watch. But that's enough of me gushing over me loving this anime, and it's time to move on to the meat of this video. I'm not an expert when it comes to the lore or the characters of the Jujutsu Kaisen world, at least not yet, but I know enough to have a well-rounded idea. Not only what's going on, but also the moments that stood out to me the most. The moments that I enjoyed the most and think deserve a highlight. And so I composed my top 5 moments of Season 2, and I'd like to share them with you guys. These moments or episodes may not be the best, but they are the ones I enjoyed the most. Of course, before we get into that, if you're a fan of my videos and would like to support the channel, please consider hitting the like button and as well as the subscribe button down at the bottom of the video. All it takes is making a free YouTube account, and it goes a long way in helping the channel and appeasing YouTube's algorithm. And if you'd like to be notified whenever my new videos drop, you can hit the bell icon. I'm shooting for at least one video a week through 2024. So with all that out of the way, let's get into my top 5 Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 moments. Starting at the bottom of the list with number 5, we have Sukuna versus Mohara, I think is how you say that. Forgive me if I butcher the living hell out of all these names. A lot of them sound extremely similar and they're difficult to pronounce. But in any case, Sukuna versus Mohara.
Oi, kuso yaro. Saki ni iku. Seizei ganbare.
After getting worn down from previous fights in the streets of Tokyo, Megami is confronted by Shigimo. or Shigimo? Something like that. A guy working with Ghetto and the Disaster Curses, who also looks like a flamboyant transvestite. Sorry, it's just this guy cracks me up. After realizing he doesn't have the strength to win and is going to die anyway, Megami decides to summon Mohara. In the wiki, it said that this thing's name is the 8-handled sword divergent Scylla divine general Mohara, also known as this big-ass angel-looking thing, and apparently he's the most powerful Shikigami of the 10 Shadows technique. Mohara can't be controlled, and so once he's summoned, he'll kill both Megami as well as Shigimo, which is exactly what Megami's hoping for. Of course, before either of those things happen, Sukuna shows up and is powered up by about 15 fingers, if I'm not mistaken. And so Sukuna and Mohara fight each other, and it's pretty awesome. You can tell how powerful both of them are, but it's clear that through the entire fight, Sukuna doesn't seem to be worried. The reason this fight is the lowest on the list for me is because of some of the animation. It's okay in some points and not bad at all in others, but then there's a lot of it that's just really choppy, and you can't really tell what's going on. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of big fights in this arc, and so I suppose they can't all be masterpieces. From what I understand, it takes quite a bit of not only talent but money to animate at such high quality levels. Still, the fight was pretty fun to watch, and it makes number 5 on this list. Number 4, Mechamaru versus Mahito. Now, I remember from Season 1 that we learned there was a mole inside of Jujutsu High. Spoiler alert, it turns out that the mole was Mechamaru. Kokichi Muta is his real name, and he was unable to physically attend Jujutsu High because of some kind of disease that made his body extra fragile and had to spend all of his time in a bathtub while he controlled a robot called Mechamaru. I think it's some kind of robot that might not be the official name of what the thing's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Since Mahito has the ability to touch a person's soul and completely remake them from the ground up, Mechamaru and Mahito made a deal that if Mechamaru provided intel about the students and the school, then Mahito would heal his body. Surprisingly, it seemed the deal went through and Mechamaru was healed, but had always intended to kill both Mahito and Geto once the deal was finalized. Seeing the different ways Mahito's used his powers against this giant robot, boosted with years of stored up cursed energy, was awesome. I thought it was animated well, and it did a good job building up Mahito even further as a colossal threat. I was a little bummed out to see how the fight ended, not because it was bad, but wasn't this the first major death? I mean, I may be completely wrong about that, because a lot of people die in this arc, but I remember this one hitting me in a different way. The only thing I thought was that this fight would definitely have an impact on Mahito in the future, and as a result it may have ended up giving Yuji an edge against him. That ended up not being so much the case, but still overall it was an awesome fight and a good farewell to Mechamaru. Number 3, Yuji vs. Choso. I just realized that my top 5 moments of this anime are all fight scenes. Oh well. Yuji vs. Choso was a great one-on-one self-contained fight between two seemingly equal opponents. Choso is working alongside the disaster curses in Geto and has a special vendetta against Yuji because he was the one who murdered his brothers. Unlike some of the other ones on this list that have buildings crashing to the ground and the universe exploding, this fight mostly takes place in the Shibuya station, as well as a small public bathroom inside of the station. It's condensed but intense, not to mention very well animated. You can see the drive and the passion from both Yuji and Choso, and as the battle continues, they move into a full-blown hand-to-hand martial arts, which is always a treat to see. What I really appreciate about this battle is how it ended. I mean, I thought for sure Yuji would have beaten Choso, but he didn't. He lost. I'm not sure what was going on with Choso. He saw a memory of him and his brothers alongside Yuji sitting at a table eating together, but that memory never really happened. I think it had something to do with Choso consuming some of Yuji's blood or something like that. I'm not really sure, but either way it causes Choso to leave without killing Yuji, which leads to the next best series of events as well as the number 2 on this list. Number 2, Sukuna vs. Jogo. Jogo finds Yuji's unconscious body after his loss with Choso, and then force feeds him 10 fingers, which means that Sukuna is now 15 fingers strong. Once Sukuna awakens, he challenges Jogo to a wager. If Jogo can land a hit on him in a one-on-one fight, then Sukuna will serve him in Geto. Jogo agrees, and Sukuna and Jogo turn Tokyo upside down. I mean, by the end of the fight, it literally looks like a meteor hit the city. Throughout the entire fight, it becomes increasingly obvious that Jogo doesn't stand a chance. Not only can he not win against Sukuna, but he can't even manage to do a single bit of damage. You know, I kind of feel bad for Jogo. I mean, the two big fights he's gotten into has been against Sukuna and Gojo, and they're like the two most powerful people in the universe or something like that. From what I understand, Jogo is probably the most powerful of the disaster curses, even more so than Mahito, but he's just had really bad luck when being paired up with opponents. How the fight ended was a nice touch though, whenever Sukuna told Jogo that he was strong. It wasn't something I was expecting Sukuna to say, but the fact that Jogo did last that long against him does show just how impressive he was as a curse. It was really this fight for me that solidified Sukuna as the main threat to the protagonist of the series. Sukuna doesn't even have all of his fingers yet, and to see just how powerful he is makes me both nervous and excited to see how things turn out the next time he awakens out of Yuji. Number 1. Yuji vs. Mahito.
No mama. Osuke!
Now, this might have been the obvious choice for number 1, but for me this was the best fight of the entire season. From the moment it began inside of Shibuya Station, up to the point when Todo joins the fight, and all the way to the end, way the hell out in the middle of the crater that Sukuna made when he was fighting Jogo. Every bit of this fight was epic. I may have already mentioned this before, but I do really like seeing the different ways Mahito uses his powers. It's such an interesting and unique ability that you can really play around with in battles. Everything from sprouting wings to fly, to turning your hand and arms into claws, to splitting your body apart and then ultimately transforming into something completely different. You just never know what he's going to do, which makes him extremely fascinating to watch. Plus, this battle between Yuji and Mahito was built up pretty well. Both of them are polar opposites, but are similar in the fact that they are true to who they are no matter what. Yuji only wants to save people, while Mahito only wants to kill people, which is why I believe Mahito told Yuji that they both were the same. Both have interesting arcs of growth and development in different ways, especially Mahito. It would have been cool if Yuji would have been able to learn a domain expansion before this battle started, like Mahito did, but either way, it was still really good. They say the landing is the hardest to stick when it comes to writing, but they easily stuck the landing with this one. I know there's a few episodes after this last fight, as well as a lot of honorable mentions when it comes to the best moments, like, for example, the capturing of Gojo. But these 5 fights were the standouts for me, and I can't wait to get into the manga and see where the story leads. But what do you guys think? Have you seen Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2? And if so, what would you say are your top 5 moments and or fights in the anime? If you like this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and of course, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching and have a great freaking day.